Hello, I'm Lelde Smits for the Finance News Network, and joining me from grain logistics company Graincorp is its Executive Chairman and Interim CEO, Don Taylor. Don, welcome to FNN.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
The company's share price has not fully recovered since Archer Daniels Midland's $3.4 billion takeover of the company fell apart at the end of last year. What do you think will support the company's share price moving forward?
Well, a couple of things. Obviously, the company's performance is related to the seasonal conditions. Last year was a particularly dry year, particularly in Northern Australia. So that's one area that we'd like to see some rain, obviously. The seasonal conditions in the south are quite good at the moment, but it's still quite dry in the north. And secondly, just getting some of our projects that we have underway further along the pipeline would certainly help us.
Now, talk has recently resurfaced, suggesting Graincorp may again be a takeover target. Hypothetically, Don, what would need to change politically in order for a foreign takeover to get the green light?
Look, I think any public company is subject to takeover any day, so I don't think we're any different from any other company. But given our particular circumstances, I think it's unlikely this government will actually revisit a transaction during this term of government. But past that, I mean, it's really up to the government to decide.
Okay, and Don, Graincorp's last CEO, Alison Watkins, resigned just days after Treasurer Joe Hockey blocked the failed takeover bid last year. When do you expect to appoint a new chief?
No, look, we're well down the track. I did say that we'd have it done by the middle of the year. Well, it's about the middle of the year now and we're not there, so it's taken a little bit longer than I would have liked, but I'm very pleased with where we're at, and we'll be making an announcement to the market as soon as we can. But I'm relaxed about the candidates we've interviewed.
Okay, Don, and looking closer at your operations now, Graincorp has just embarked upon a $200 million initiative called Project Regeneration. What are you aiming to achieve?
I'm really looking at improving the efficiency of our network, particularly the transportation leg, which is moving the grain from our country depots to the port. We've seen 2 million tonnes move off the rail onto trucks over recent years, and that's really related to the conditions of the tracks in some part, but also to the arrangements at our depots. So we're going to invest $200 million over 3 years to improve our side of the network, and we're looking for government to co-invest in rail sidings so that the growers can receive the benefit and increased or reduced costs.
Now, Graincorp has also just scored a regulatory win for your Newcastle bulk grain facility. Why do you believe that you were disadvantaged before, and how has the ACCC's latest decision aided your cause?
Look, we're very pleased with that decision, obviously, because it recognises there is competition. And I think the ACCC, the solution the ACCC have come up with is entirely appropriate. We are, of course, concerned going forward because we have a mandatory code coming into practice. It's the draft forms out now, and we'd like to see the Newcastle exemption broadened to other ports where we have substantial competition. For instance, Port Kembla, we see a new terminal proposed to be built there, and that entrant was able to structure that arrangement such that it avoided all the regulations that we have to go through at our depot, at our terminal, which didn't apply to theirs. And we think there should be equality in the rules. There can't be two sets of rules.
Now, as you mentioned, Quatro Grain is poised to start operating at your largest port, Port Kembla, in 2016. How do you anticipate the Quatro Grain JB will impact your operations?
Well, any terminal that's built will take capacity away from us. So we're recognising that we're going to lose some volume to that new entrant. Whether it's profitable or not, we know we're going to lose volume, and part of regeneration is actually adjusting our cost base in the country to reflect that lower volume. But it certainly will affect us, but competition's good, but we'd just like to be able to compete on a level playing field, because the arrangements that actually facilitated that construction by Cube are arrangements that would be illegal for my company to enter into, and we just don't think that's a reasonable set of rules to play by.
And Don, when do you believe the government will provide its final position on the mandatory code of conduct?
Look, it's going to be relatively quickly. There was a relatively short 4-week period for submissions. We've made a submission in terms of response to the draft code. and certainly we'd expect within the next 6 to 8 weeks that the government will come out with the final position.
Finally, John, what are the company's priorities at the moment, and how would you like to see Graincorp positioned by the end of this year?
I'd obviously like to see a good crop. That would be the most important thing, but certainly just to make us very efficient in terms of the way we do things. We've got to look at our costs. There's no easy dollars out in business today, so it's about making sure the business has the best cost base to work from. So everything we're focused on at the moment is actually trying to take unnecessary costs out of the business so that we become competitive in the world environment.
John Taylor, thank you for the update from Graincorp.
My pleasure. Thanks very much for having me.